Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Megwa. Let's begin with an update on the major stories from Nigeria's seat of power. President Muhammadu Buhari received a delegation from the Open Government Partnership Support Unit, led by the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Sanjay Pradhan, during which he itemized the benefits Nigeria has derived from joining the transparency body in 2016.
By next month, in August, I will sign the third action plan, which is the final stage of development. I am eager to sign the document so that we can continue to sustain the progress of reforms that we have recorded in the first 6 years of the implementation. Our budgeting processes have become more open, citizen-centered, and participatory. In accordance with the objective of fiscal transparency, all stakeholders, including the public, are involved in country's budget-making process, have access to the details of our budgets and opportunity to make inputs into the budgeting process.
Also, the president is promising to improve the working condition of judges. He made the promise when he received the leadership of the body of benchers, led by its chairman, Mr. Wole Olanipekun. President Buhari has commended the ECOWAS Commission for its capacity and patience, particularly in addressing issues of insecurity, the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as political tension in some West African countries. He made the remark when he received the outgoing president of the ECOWAS Commission, Mr. Jean-Claude Cassibrou. The president is calling on leaders in West Africa to do all within their powers to ensure that elections are conducted in their countries in an atmosphere of trust, freedom, and transparency. He made this known in a goodwill message to the government and people of Liberia as he joined other world leaders on the 175th independence anniversary of the West African nation. The military is working on new strategies to curtail the worsening insecurity in the country. The National Security Advisor, retired Major General Babagana Monguno, made this known after the National Security Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari.
The members of the armed forces have also made a commitment that in the coming weeks, they've already started working on a new strategy to deal with these snippets of violence. And they've given their word, their commitment to the president that there will be a change in momentum, regardless of the fact that there might be certain institutional limitations which they face.
Security also dominated the conversation after this week's Federal Executive Council meeting, which is chaired by President Buhari at the Presidential Villa. The Minister of Information, Mr. Lai Mohammed, reacted to the calls for the impeachment of the president over the state of insecurity in the country.
I want to assure you that Mr. President is aware of all this, and I'm told, as a matter of fact, I think tomorrow there's going to be another Security Council meeting. So it's not a matter the president is taking lightly. And like I've always said, some of the measures we are going to take are not measures that you can discuss, openly here. But we are as concerned as you are. We're not going to abandon our responsibility. As to those who have issued threats to Mr. President, I think it's more propaganda than anything. It's laughable. As to the resolution passed by Senate, as rightly said, it was passed when we were deliberating. But we thank them for their patriotism and their concern, but we have already, we are working around the clock, 24 hours, to ensure that Nigerians are, the situation is brought under control.
The Federal Executive Council has given an approval to Nigeria Air to lease aircrafts to start operations. The Minister of Aviation, Mr. Hadi Sirika, made the announcement after the council meeting.
We are starting with 3 aircraft for the first instance to do the runs, and then we progress. As to the make and type, we will be having eventually a mix of the two. The Airbuses and the Boeings, because every airline that will grow big is either or. Most of them are either Airbus or they are Boeing, especially for the intercontinental and international flights. And this will start as domestic airline and then would, of course, grow to become regional and international, also intercontinental.
The Council also approved the 2023-2025 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, who made the announcement, also gave an update on the status of the excess crude accounts.
We had reported to Council the basis on which we prepared this report, which is against the background of slow global economic growth, as well as high inflation, global high inflation, but also amidst the challenges that are still lingering from the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic and the consequences of the Ukraine-Russia war. In the past 4 years, because of the volatility in the crude oil market, we have not had any accretion to the excess crude account. So what we have had has been gradually used up for different purposes, and it's always used in consultation with the National Economic Council, that is the governors, because this is a federation account. The last approval that was given by the National Economic Council was $1 billion to enhance security. We have been utilizing that. The last tranche of that has been finally released because the deployment to the security agencies are based on the contracts that they executed, and it's been used strictly for that security purposes. So it's been, the utilization in the account is with the full knowledge of the governors.
The Senate has received the formal request from President Muhammadu Buhari to confirm the nomination of Justice Olukayode Ariwola as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The request is contained in a letter read by the Senate President Ahmed Lawan during plenary session. Meanwhile, federal lawmakers have commenced their annual vacation.
Confirmation of appointment. In accordance with Section 10, subsection 3A of the Central Bank of Nigeria Establishment Act 2007, I have the pleasure to present the following nominees for confirmation by the Senate for appointment as non-executive directors of the Board of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Number 1, Professor Mike Idiahi Obadan, South Zone. Professor Justicia Odinaka Chukwu Nnabuko, Southeast. Professor Umu Ahmed Jalingo, Northeast. Mr. Adiola Adetunji, Southwest. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Muhammadu Buhari.
The Vice President, Professor Osinbajo, has been discharged from hospital after undergoing a successful surgery. He was admitted to the Duchess International Hospital, Lagos, on Saturday, July the 16th, 2022, on account of a right femur fracture. He had corrective surgery without any complications. Welcome back. How safe is your neighborhood right now? In my neighborhood, thugs and the police had a conflict, and though no lives were lost, it terrified all of us who've gotten used to our quiet little haven. And I'm not talking about a suburb, no, right here in the city center. What shocked most of us was how many thugs were there. How did they all get into Abuja? Where do they live? How do they survive? That's something many residents of the FCT have noted. This massive number of young men who just roam the streets and sleep in motor parks. The security threats took a turn when the attacks happened in Bwari, Kwali, and Zuba. All these places barely 30 minutes from the city center, and all these attacks in just 1 week. Please watch this.
This beautiful monolith on the border of the Federal Capital Territory and Niger State is regarded as a gateway into Abuja from most states in northwest Nigeria. This is the spot of the latest attack on the troops of the 102 Battalion of the Presidential Guards Brigade by bandits on the night of Thursday, July 28, 2022.
They came towards from Madela, coming towards Madela, and they start firing at the army unexpectedly. But the army, they stood up. They retaliated back. All through they move all through till they get to this U-turn here. So those special forces came out also with their weapon and everything. Before they could come out, they'll run off.
From the military that survived, we learned that two sustained injury, well, they lost one. We realized that they have a serious gun battle. When we went there, there is blood, that they drag blood, maybe of one of the members that is shot, but we don't actually know because it's up for the military to explain, because they were in the scene themselves.
Earlier in the week, the federal government ordered an emergency evacuation of students of the Federal Government College Kwali following attacks in neighboring communities. The Guards Brigade was also attacked in Buari, where some officers were killed and injured, though the bandits suffered at least 30 fatalities. The FCTA administration subsequently announced the closure of all schools in the nation's capital. This is the third attack on the fringes of the Federal Capital Territory by bandits, and residents fear for their lives.
For now, we are not safe now. For now, we are not safe for this area. We need government to be helping us. With those security, may they able their motto, even those security, they won't come outside, no motto, nothing.
Wannan shago na ne. To sai kawai muka ji dilin bindiga dau. To da har na tashi ina ce ko wayan wuta wannan ne sai naga ina ba wayan wuta bane. Na sake na koma na kama tattara dai kaya ba zan iya ba. Sai na tashi na fita da gudu. Muka shiga daji. Gwamnati ta tsaya mana dai akan wannan abu dai ta taimake mu samu mu ji abubuwa dai ya lafa mana hankalin mu ya kwanta.
Say if you take government no take action. As I said, in Abuja, they go into. We don't try their best. Nobody said they run. They don't try. They try, but we don't try again. If they don't try, this thing go into their side way. They don't go enter before. They go enter there now.
The Minister of FCT summoned a meeting of security agencies where a decision was reached to revive the G7 security operations, which involves security collaboration and partnership with states which are contiguous to the Federal Capital Territory.
Abuja is the seat of government, surrounded by states like Kaduna, Niger, Kogi, which were having some camps of these hoodlums or bandits. So for Abuja to be safe and her residents, that is why we activated, and thank God the Minister of FCT has approved the commencement of G7 operation immediately, so that we take the fight to the bandits, not to allow them to come to the FCT.
I have even gone ahead and met with some security commissioners in the neighboring states, for instance, Niger State, and they have guaranteed us that they are going to participate in the G7 operation. They even guaranteed that they will assist us with some equipment if we need. Yes.
The administration is urging residents to go about their lawful activities without fear, insisting that the nation's capital is safe.
My guest on the program is a former spokesperson for the Nigerian Army, retired Brigadier General Sani Usman. There's so much misinformation out there, and that's because not much truth is given by the relevant authorities. So speculations flood the media. Why is this so? Why is it that security threats are given and nothing is done till after the attack is carried out? Is this just the usual election year problems we face in Nigeria? How did these bandits get into Abuja, and what should be done now that they're here? Brigadier General Sani Usman, MNI, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a hard time for us in this country. Everyone is a little on edge. What's really going on from a security expert's perspective? Is this a normal thing? Because normally a year to an election, we start to hear all of these kinds of things happening. Insecurity, scarcity, economic downturn. A lot of times we're used to hearing these things a year to an election. Is that what's going on right now, or is there something more?
I think it is really one of the most trying moments in the history of our country. It's normal, usually, given what is happening in this country over time. Whenever you are approaching election year, you have heightened insecurity. But this time around, the insecurity is most unusual. Unfortunate thing also, the Federal Capital Territory, which is supposed to be more scared than any part of the country, is equally being threatened. Therefore, it is understandable that everybody is concerned and people are on the edge. And most importantly, the fact that there is a problem of lack of communication. You know, if people are being carried along, whatever is happening within the ambit of security considerations, they are being told, you know, things could have been better than it is. Because sometimes some of the issues, really, they are not as they are being, you know, said. But of course, given what is happening on the ground, series of attacks, abductions, and kidnappings here and there, definitely you have every reason to be concerned. But the most important thing now is beyond the talking, what should we do? Because in a few months' time, you know, there will be full-blown campaign, prelude to 2023 general elections that will usher in a new set of leaders for the country. But we have to ensure a conducive atmosphere for that process to take place. And how do we do that? Is to nip the security challenges that are bedeviling this country. I know that you cannot have a perfect society, but let the crime be, you know, reduced to the barest minimum so that this very important thing takes place.
You're a former army spokesperson. One of the issues, and you did raise it just now, is poor communication. Something happened yesterday night. And because we don't have actual communication from the military or from any of the security agencies, people start to come up with one theory after the other. There's so much fake news out there. But you see, the way to counter fake news is with truth. From the standpoint of someone who used to be a former army spokesperson, why is it so difficult for the military to read out statements, to give us information about what's going on, so we can be better prepared and even support them in their war against insurgency or banditry or kidnappings or whatever it is that is going on? Why is it so difficult to get that?
The bureaucracy or the nature of military services require that every loose end is tied. Take, for instance, I was telling you of a remotely located unit. Things happen, and you need to have the accurate information, and you have to clear. That is one. But beyond that, even the military is just a subsystem in the Nigerian society. To what extent other components do we have a crisis communication plan? You know, as a nation.
Do we have one?
These are the things, the context under which you operate. And, you know, we tend to borrow so many things from, you know, the United States of America. And in terms of democracy and all, what have you. The same thing should have been with the information management system, in the sense that right from the commander-in-chief up to the last man in the trench, they are always on the same page. But unfortunately, in most instances, what we have with the information management is reactive. It's against being proactive, especially, and there are tons of directives and reports that say, look, whenever you are preparing for such things, these are the things that will be the support element, including the, you know, media relations and communication strategies and what have you. I quite agree with you that we need to do more in respect of that. And of course, there is no better time than now, because information is very, very important and critical, you know, so that people will know what to do and they could be assured.
How did this happen? How did we have these people in the nation's capital? From a security expert standpoint, this is supposed to be, and you said it, it's supposed to be the most secure part of the country. How did they get in here?
To a large extent, if you are asking, it borders on good governance. Good governance in the sense that now you have 3 tiers of government. federal, state, and local government. One of the tests is not working, and it's very, very critical to national development and national security. And what is it here? The local government system. And I am sure you will bear me witness to the fact that most of them, they barely exist in only name and in issuance of indigence uniform, especially when somebody is going to be recruited in the police or in the armed forces or elsewhere. Beyond that, the statutory responsibilities of the local government are no longer there. And these are part of the problems that brought about, I mean, the circumstances that brought about this issue. Because it's supposed to be safeguard security challenges, some issues that could have been dealt with at a local level where people knows everybody and people will be held responsible and accountable are not there. So automatically you push the problem to state and federal government. Now you look at the level of unemployment in this country. What is the level of literacy in this country? And what is the level of cohesion? Because you know that there is an observed divisible tendencies in this country. Ordinarily, people that should have help, you know, in mitigating some of these issues, everybody is nonchalant. So these are the points. I mean, these are some of the problems that brought about that. Of course, the issue of corruption is there. And the issue of, you know, any time you task or you give people directives, you are supposed to follow it through. Are we following through? And we know for certain. Take, for instance, if you look at the sad incidents of attack on the Kuje correctional facility, you realize that there were reports over time. And beyond that, even the Department of State Services were tracing phone calls to the four walls of that facility. Nothing was done.
If I got security information that this road here, there was something is expected to happen on that road, as a citizen, that
is Murtala Mohammed Way, anyway.
Yes, if something was about to happen on Murtala Mohammed Way, I would want to take some kind of action as a citizen, as a security organization, as the DSS or the army, or whoever it is that has gotten information about an attack about to happen somewhere. We've heard this before. Why is there nothing done? Is it they need to verify the information?
Democracy has requirements. It is bureaucratic and it requires, you know, patience, interactions and what have you. But I know that for the armed forces there was this transformation process for 15 years, between 2000 to 2015. But what have you prepared the Nigerian society with the rudiments of Nigerian, I mean, the democratic governance by strengthening institutions? Take, for instance, this policing system. What is the level of investment in the policing system? And I kept on saying, look, there is no country in this world that doesn't have one form of policing system or the other. But there are countries without armed forces, and they are doing very well. So we have neglected that aspect, and those that you see they are well developed in terms of security and well secured, it is their policing system.
What should the Nigerian government be doing? What can be done right now?
Is improving you know, the good governance in this country. You know, the fight against corruption just has to be taken seriously, and so that people should be alive to their responsibilities, because bulk of these issues is simply because some people are not doing what they are supposed to do and doing it diligently and excellently well.
Well, that's where we have to wrap up today, but thank you very much for being with us on Dateline Abuja, and good luck with everything that you do.
Amen. Thank you so much, too. I wish you all the best.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. These attacks have made many of us in Abuja feel very unsafe. So we must be more vigilant and take steps to keep ourselves safe. If you see something, say something. Find out the contact details for the divisional police officer in the area command where you reside and keep it on your phone. I have mine on speed dial. Please stay safe, verify information before you spread it, and remain calm. That's Dateline Abuja this week. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kayla Magwa. See you next time.